Wow, it has been a while.
Yeah.
Like a long while.
It's been a heck of a year. It really
Yeah.
has.
It's been a great year though.
Mm-hmm. Lots of learning and growing and reflecting.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey guys, so we've been getting asked the question, what it's like being a parent, what are the struggles, what are the challenges, and so we thought it'd be really cool to just give our true, honest insight on what that's really like. So if you're a new parent or going to be a new parent, then this might be helpful for you.
We're starting a new series called His and Her Point of View. Right now the topic is being new parents, and today the question is, what are the top 5 challenges of being a new parent? We're answering these questions candidly, so he's answering his separately, I'm answering mine separately, and now we're going to discuss them together and with you.
And we don't know, I don't know what her answers are.
I don't know what he said, he doesn't know what I said, so we'll kind of see his and her point of view.
Yep.
So since it is his and her point of view, I'm going to let Kyle go first on this one.
These are the general struggles that I've noticed. So the first one is time, especially if you're working. You're locked in at say 8 hours a day, right? If you work a 9-to-5 job, you have time you have to worry about. And so I noticed being a parent, there's a lot of sacrifice that we have to make, right? It's no more enjoying your free time and doing what you want to do when you want to do it. So having a little baby, they need your guidance, they just need your attention, and they just need your investment into them. And so really you have to sacrifice time. That's struggle number 1. Also, if you like to work out, which we used to work out all the time, and we probably squeezed in a handful of at-home workouts. But now that she's over 1 year, we're at the point now where we're starting to get more of a better rhythm with that.
I don't know why I'm doing this right now. Okay, so my number 1 challenge, and this is kind of starting from newborn, is overcoming fear. So I'd say mom fears. For example, why am I nervous? Talking to a camera. I think watching you seem nervous and you nervous. So my first one is overcoming fear. So mom fears for example, the umbilical cord. Her umbilical cord fell off after 5 days, and I was freaking out she was gonna bleed or something like that. And every time we would change her diaper, she would cry and it would start bleeding, and it started from there. And then hiccups, their diaphragm, it expands so much when they hiccup, and I was freaking out is this normal? All these new things that you haven't experienced with a newborn, it's they're freaky, and it's is this normal? Is that normal? So I'm texting my midwife all the time, or my sister, to just calm my fears. And then breastfeeding, it's is she getting enough milk? Is she, she lost some weight? Is this normal? Is she, losing too much weight? Then comes putting her in the car, being afraid of, other drivers around, or getting in an accident or something happening. There are just so many fears you can have as a parent, and even to this day, new things we deal with. If she, she got sick her first time at 5 months, and that was scary, but she handled it like a champ. And there's just so many fears, and I think what we've learned most through that is just giving it to God, trusting Him. There's nothing we can do about it, so we have to just give it to Him, and trust that everything will be okay, and whatever happens, you just have to deal with it as it comes. Yeah. But try not to live in fear. Yeah.
To add to that, so that's interesting, because I didn't see that as a struggle, fear, but really that's a legitimate one that's true. And so the thing is that we've realized with Bella is she's way tougher than we know.
That's true.
And she's resilient. And
babies are resilient.
Each baby will be different, but I think they're way more resilient than we realize. And so, being the first time parents, we're very helicopter at times. But it's something that we have to exercise and work on, that she's going to be okay. And so that's been a skill that I think we've been I'm struggling to spit. That's a skill that we've been developing over time. So.
Yeah. And we don't want to live in fear and have her be fearful as well.
Yeah.
So we need to work on that.
Yeah. My next struggle, and all of these are kind of like relatable. So the next one is energy, so time and energy. Again, it's just like you only have so much time in the day, and so you know, like I said, when you're working, you're expending energy there. When you come home, you're expending more energy because now you got to play with baby and all that. So next one is just limited energy.
So my second top struggle is mom guilt. The first thing I can remember mom guilt is I took her to the hair salon with me when she was about 3 or 4 months old. I took her to the hair salon with me, and it took a little while to get my hair done, and I'm an empath, so I really noticed like people's energy and their feelings and stuff like that. So I just noticed she was overstimulated, and I just felt so guilty. Like, how could I have done that to her? And like, she was smelling the fumes in the salon and overstimulated by the blow dryer and the long day out. And then when we left the salon, it was raining, and I had to rush her to the car in the rain, and I just felt so guilty. I came home and I cried. There's been quite a few times where I felt mom guilt for things, and it's made me cry. Now it's like, if I'm doing chores and she wants my attention, I feel guilty that I have to do chores and I can't like spend all my time with her. Even though I know I'm lucky to be a stay-at-home mom and I'm able to like be with her so much, I feel so blessed. There's also like things like, play dates. Now she's not seeing friends enough. She's not being, socializing enough with other kids. I feel bad for that. There's always these like things that a mom can feel guilty for, and I'm actually reading a book right now called Gospel-Centered Motherhood by the Daily Grace Co., and it's kind of giving some insight into that and how we should not feel guilty. I could talk more about that later, but yeah, mom guilt for sure.
Yeah, I think another guilt is like when you finally hurt your baby, like it's an accident, and talk about feeling the worst you ever felt. The next one that I have is sleep. So again, time, energy, now sleep. That's probably been the biggest struggle we've had with Bella, because Bella is really a great baby all the way around, except her sleeping habits we've been averaging like 5 to 6 hours a night of sleep.
Broken
and
sleep.
You're probably a little less than that. And so we did that for a whole year. And so our advice to you about sleep is there's the cry it out method. And we totally didn't want to do it, avoided it as long as we could. But really we came to a crossroads where it's like, that's the only option we have. And so we did that just recently. And
she took it so much better than we thought she would.
She really did, yeah.
It was not nearly as painful for, I think, either of us as we thought it would be.
Yeah.
And she is just so much happier now. I can tell we're all feeling better.
Surprisingly, it wasn't that painful for her. And it's been the best thing ever. Mm-hmm. So we would recommend the cry it out method, for sure.
And it didn't even take very long of crying, so yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So my third one was actually losing sleep too, because it came to a point where I was getting up maybe 15 or more times a night in the middle of the night. It just kept getting worse and worse, and it was all out of comfort for her, and we were developing bad sleeping patterns, and we all needed our sleep. She needed her sleep. She needs sleep. Well, ultimately made us decide too, not just us losing our sleep, but she needs her sleep so that she can grow, process all this information that her brain is taking in, all of these milestones. And, I have actually noticed since we've done this about a week and a half now, I have noticed she has processed so much more during her long nights of sleep. She wakes up just her mind is on fire. And
she downloads it overnight. It's the weirdest thing. It's like the next morning, it's like a new trick. It's like, where did you get that? Yep. It's like it's downloaded overnight. That's the best way I can explain it.
Yeah, and then another reason we chose to ultimately do the cry it out after almost 13 and a half months is I noticed during the day I was not being enthusiastic with her as a mom, and I didn't have the energy. I was exhausted. I was a zombie. And even with how much I wanted to be the best mom I could for her, I couldn't because I was that exhausted, and I knew something had to change because I didn't want to be this boring, tired mom that couldn't do anything, play with her, be real energy, because the babies they can pick up on your energy, little kids can, and even if it's fake, which I was trying to play it off like I was all energized, they can sense it, and I just noticed that it just wasn't fun for either of us. So
yeah, and so like we said, we've been gone for a little while from YouTube, and we do apologize. But we went through a really, it was a rough first year. There was a lot of blessings and great things about it, but it was, we were burning both ends of the candle for quite a long time. And so if you notice the struggles we had were time, energy, and sleep. We were lacking on all of those. So we didn't have the capabilities. But now that we've just recently figured out this whole sleep thing, you're going to start seeing more of us on here again. And we thought we'd like to pay it forward to you guys. This is what we've learned in the last 13 months. And so that's kind of where we are now.
And as proof to my sister, she actually saw me on FaceTime a week after we started this whole new sleep thing. And she's very forward with everything that she says. And she's like, wow, you look like you are a lot more rested now. And I'm like, well, there's a reason why. And the fact that she noticed that just over FaceTime, it says a lot of how exhausted we really were.
Is logistics. So now it's not just me and Crystal. Now it's me, Crystal, and a baby. So we have a car seat now that we have to put her in. So anywhere we go, Bella has to go. And so the grocery store, Crystal goes to the grocery store with Bella when I'm at work. And so there's a whole logistics that she's got to deal with just with the baby. Make sure the baby's, she's got food, she's got diapers, we have a to-go bag, and
but it's around her nap time if I don't want her to be grumpy.
Right. And so recently we're actually in the process of upgrading our vehicle. We need something larger, so we're doing the parenting thing right now. We're getting a larger, safer vehicle for the baby, and so just a heads up, that probably will happen if you have a smaller vehicle. And so we have to go look at these vehicles. And by the way, we don't have any close family here that can watch Bella. So really, Crystal and I are on our own. Just trying to go look at a vehicle to buy. It's we have to, pack everything up and pack the army and then get out the door. We've been doing that for a couple weeks right now.
And you know how long you can get stuck at a dealership and then having to put the car seat in the new car that you're testing out and take it out, and then it's a lot more work. And then, just things like me going to, I didn't even think about this as one of my answers, but if I don't have a stroller with me and I'm baby carrying, I have to sit around my lap while I'm using the restroom. And there's been some awkward situations that I've been in because of that. And it's if your baby can't stand or walk yet, it's a lot harder. We have landscapers out front, so hopefully that doesn't pick up on the mic, but it probably will. So we're just going to continue on with this anyway, just so we can get this video done. So my number 4 struggle would be being selfless. So it's very easy for me to be selfless as a mom, but it's also hard. It's hard internally. I can do it. It's just sometimes you just want to be selfish and do the things you want to do, especially when it's taking care of yourself. Working out is one that I can say I have not worked out nearly as much as I thought I would as a new mom. I always was, would say oh, I'm going to be that fit mom, but it really is hard, especially if you put your child first, especially when they're little, especially now that she's sleeping better. I have less of an excuse, which it never was really an excuse, but I can basically be a little bit more selfish or whatever because she's able to do more things for herself and just be a little bit more independent.
We just have more time. It was we would only have maybe an hour of free time for a whole year.
And that was at the end of the night when we're tired.
Yeah, that was at the end of the day. We get maybe an hour.
Yeah.
And it was we were kind of wondering is this how it is?
And that hour I was using cleaning up after dinner, getting things ready for the next day.
So it was a true sacrifice and commitment at that point in time.
Yeah.
Now that we figured out the sleeping thing, by far much better. We have a lot more free time throughout the day. With Crystal probably can get in 2 more 1 hour sections than she used to. So being selfless has definitely been a struggle, but I basically just had to have patience and knowing that as she gets a little bit older, things are going to get a little bit easier, and just taking care of my needs where I can. So even if it's just 10-minute workout, 20-minute workout, just do what I can in this moment and honor the season that we're in. We have to give each other grace. For this last year, like Crystal said, it just wasn't realistic for us to work out and do all that stuff. So we had to give each other grace and be this is just a year that's not going to be about us. Really, it's going to be about Bella. And we accepted that, and that's the way it was. And we actually were okay.
And we're both on the same page about it, which is important because not every couple might be that way, but we were. And we don't have any animosity towards each other or anything like that.
I think we came closer, and we just kind of teamed up, and that's the way it was. So the next one is she's always changing. So the moment you figure her out, she switches it up on you, and now you're dealing with a new whatever it is. So you probably have heard this, maybe from other parents or whatever, but you will experience it, because the moment you figure her out and how her attitude is and what she likes, and then like Crystal said, she'll go to sleep, and then the next day she downloaded something new, and she's acting completely different, and she wants something else. And so, she's always changing the game up.
Yeah, I think our first experience with that would be we got her the stroller, or my dad actually did.
Yep.
But the stroller rides were putting her to sleep, and we were like, finally, we can at least get her to nap with the stroller. And then a few weeks went by, and then she was not wanting that stroller.
Yep.
And what we learned too, though, is even though they changed it up, after a couple weeks, try it again, because they might be into it again. Now it's with food. Oh, they might love avocado one week, or for like weeks and weeks, and then now she's like, I don't want anything to do with avocado.
That's a good point, because they do circle back around, and they get back into that phase of what they were doing. And so, I mean, she's done that a couple times with certain things, like pineapple. She loves pineapple, and then all of a sudden she isn't about it, and like 2 weeks later she is about it, and then she just kind of goes through cycles about whatever it is.
And I actually started thinking about that the other day, and I was talking to my friend about it, and her son's doing the same thing, and I'm like, well, maybe that's their way of telling us they need something else, they're sick of it, just like we would probably get sick of pizza if we ate it every day. So that's just God's way of putting that in. So my last one is finding routine again. Kyle and I used to be very routine. Go work, gym, meal prep, whatever, sleep. And I thought we're so routine, like when we have a baby, we're going to be, great at this. But I swear having her threw everything off for me, and I just was I didn't know what to do, where to even start on routine. And now that she's sleeping better too, I think that the routine is just getting better and better, and you just got to get creative and come up with different ideas, I think. And
our time frame is just, we get short spurts of 15, 20 minutes, so we're a lot faster now, a lot more direct about what we're doing. But I think the key is just being consistent. So we have these mini, if it's a 10, 15 minute full body workout at home, that's what we're doing. And just doing something that's just going to keep us either maintained or somehow moving forward.
And I think it's funny because I always thought I was busy or efficient before we had her, but I was not nearly as busy as I thought I was, or efficient. So I always think it's kind of funny now when some people without kids say that they're so busy, and I'm just like, oh, just wait.
It's funny though,
I don't want to be that parent that says that, but I don't say it, but it's true.
It's funny though, you do find a way to I don't know, you just find this inner strength, inner energy, or whatever you want to call it, and you just become a doer, and you just start, you just knock things out, and you just do it, and you realize how much stronger you are inside, and you're just I tell her all the time, I'm like, I don't know how I do all this stuff, I never thought I could have done this without a baby, and I wish I would have had what I have now without a baby. Oh my gosh.
Imagine if we were on the same speed and level we have to be on with her. Before we had her, we would have gotten
it's like a rite of passage.
So much more done, So those were all of our struggles. I think it was interesting to hear some of yours that I didn't really think that were actually struggles.
I think yours were way more insightful. Mine are very top very easy for it,
I don't know. You tell us. What do you guys think?
Yeah, actually.
His point of view versus hers.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys have to say. Maybe if you are a parent, what were some of your struggles? Leave some comments down below.
We'd love to hear it.
If you have any questions, please reach out. We actually respond to everybody that leaves us a question. If it's about this, if it's about moving to Maui, if it's about whatever it is.
Home birth, anything.
Yeah, please leave a comment. And so with that, guys, we hope you have an awesome day. And we're going to be posting things, every week?
Every week.
So, the next
one. So hold us accountable and leave those comments.
Guys, with that, have an awesome day.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.